Around BVA, Randy Durrigan given Man of the Year honors. The Standard Times newspaper of New Bedford, Massachusetts, has named blinded veteran Randy Durrigan as the town of Fairhaven's Man of the Year for 2016 for his, quote, courage in the face of adversity and his commitment to helping others, end quote. The newspaper posted an article by Amy Chiavaroli regarding the honor in its December 25th edition and updated the story on December 28th. The article details Randy's successful career as a wire inspector and manager of his own electrical business prior to losing his sight in 2004 due to optical nerve damage. It mentions the subsequent depression he faced and the 6 weeks at the Eastern Rehabilitation Center at West Haven that changed his life forever. A veteran of the U.S. Air Force, Randy originally believed that VA could not help him since his diagnosis was unrelated to his military service. Not only did he shortly thereafter discover that help, he has also assisted others in doing the same. He's a great volunteer, and he's an inspiration to other blind veterans when he tells his story. Providence VA Medical Center VIST coordinator Adele Geringer is quoted as saying in the article, Adele has been with Randy for the duration of his ups and downs and has been a witness to it all. Randy's outreach to other veterans with vision loss includes a long stint as president of the Rhode Island Southeastern Massachusetts Regional Group and 7 years of voluntary service to veterans in VA's Voluntary Service Program. Last April, he received a certificate that cited his then 1,310 volunteer hours. In 2014, Randy received the Irving Diener Award at the National Convention in Reno. He is constantly distributing BVA informational and promotional materials to prospective BVA members and their families at support group meetings, public events, and privately on his own. New York vets join America's Parade. An accompanying photo has been placed with this entry in Around BVA. It is a small photo with some 16 individuals included in 3 horizontal rows, which means that most of the photo's subjects appear relatively small. In the first 2 rows are 9 young ladies who have a small royalty crown on their heads. The third row includes 2 elegantly dressed additional young ladies with similar crowns and 5 blinded veterans. All but the gentleman on the far right are wearing BVA baseball caps. The latter is wearing a cowboy hat. In the background are large numbers of people holding up signs. Also visible in the background are sides of 2 large buildings with dozens of windows. The caption states, standing left to right on the back row behind several Miss Teenage America contestants, Warner Murray, Regional Group President, Enrique Sanchez, pointing white cane high in the air, Rudy Gomez, Ron Siracusa, and Miguel Davis. The story reads as follows. 7 members of BVA's New York Regional Group joined post-9/11 veterans as well as police, firefighters, and civilians who served as 9/11 responders in their participation in New York City's Veterans Day Parade November 11th. It was the 10th consecutive year of the group's participation in a parade that has roots extending back nearly 100 years. The current parade is produced by the United War Veterans Council, Inc. Referred to now as America's Parade for its size and breadth of participation, the event is America's largest celebration of service. The New York veterans rode on the front of a float entered by Verizon Communications, Inc. They were accompanied by a group of female retired Air Force veterans who sang patriotic musical numbers, some of which were the official marches of the 5 branches of service. Quote, as you can imagine, it was a grand day for us as we again had the opportunity to march up Fifth Avenue as we do every year, waving and showing off our banner, which was new and improved this year, said Enrique Sanchez, the group member most responsible for securing the annual entry. After the parade, we strolled over to Applebee's for our free meal, which for at least one of us was not the only free meal of the day from the same restaurant chain. Joining the veterans in support with a seat on the reviewing stand located near the 42nd Street Library was blind rehabilitation outpatient specialist Deborah Kraut. Deborah must have arrived very early in order to get that spot on the reviewing stand, said Enrique. We were thrilled that she could be there with us and for us. Also close to the regional group's entry and interacting considerably with the veterans was a group of upcoming Miss Teenage America contestants from New York and nearby states. The parade carries on the traditions of the New York City Veterans Day Parade, which in turn traces its roots back to earlier parades organized by veterans of the American Revolution and the War of 1812. The New York Veterans Day Parade began in 1919 with the signing of the armistice ending World War I. In the 1970s and 1980s, the parade experienced a decline in public support due to the controversies of the Vietnam War. In response, a group of Vietnam veterans relaunched the United War Veterans Council to rescue it. In recent years, a new generation of veterans has stepped forward to take stewardship of the parade. This year's event had 3 grand marshals, each a 9/11 responder and a veteran of America's post-9/11 wars. According to Enrique, the length of the parade is staggering, illustrated by the fact that the first entries left the beginning point at 26th Street at approximately 11:15 a.m., and the final entries not arriving at the 52nd Street ending until after 3:30 p.m. This is one incredible show of respect and honor to all veterans that we are very grateful to be a part of, said Enrique. Applications still accepted for 2017-2018 scholarships. BVA will award 7 total scholarships for the 2017-2018 school year, 6 under the Catherine F. Gruber classification and 1 through the Thomas H. Miller program. The Gruber scholarships are valued at $2,000 each, and the Miller stipend is for $1,000. The Miller program, now in its 5th year, requires the same application process and qualifications as the Gruber Awards, but has an added emphasis on music and the fine arts. The scholarship committee will choose 7 recipients and 2 alternates. Dependent children, grandchildren, and spouses of both blinded veterans and active duty blinded service members of the U.S. Armed Forces are eligible for the scholarships. The veteran or service member must be legally blind, and the blindness may be either service-connected or non-service connected. He or she need not be a member of the Blinded Veterans Association. To be eligible for the scholarship, an applicant must have been accepted for admission or already be enrolled as a full-time student in an accredited institution of higher education or business, secretarial, or vocational training school. BVA began its first scholarship program 34 years ago. The awards are intended to defray a student's educational expenses, including tuition, books, and other academic fees. Scholarship payments will be made by BVA directly to the educational institution. The scholarships will be awarded on a most highly qualified basis, utilizing the following criteria: answers to questions on the application form, transcripts of high school and or college records, 3 letters of reference, and a 300-word essay relating to the applicant's career goals and aspirations, as well as past awards and achievements. Scholarships are awarded for 1 year only. Applicants are advised that the BVA National Board of Directors has determined that Gruber and Miller scholarship recipients are limited to a total of 4 scholarships during their college careers. Applications for the scholarships may be accessed and downloaded at bva.org, by emailing the request to projectassistant@bva.org, or by sending a written request via postal mail to BVA National Headquarters, 125 Northwest Street, 3rd floor, Alexandria, Virginia, 22314. Completed applications and supporting materials must be returned to BVA no later than Friday, April 21, 2017. Due to time constraints related to processing the applications for the Scholarship Committee's review, applications arriving subsequent to the aforementioned deadline will not be accepted. Incomplete applications will not be submitted to the Scholarship Committee. It is the responsibility of the applicant, not BVA, to ensure a complete application. Recipients of the Gruber Scholarships for the current academic year are Archara Colonel from Panama City, Florida, attending the University of Florida; Adoria Hughes from Columbus, Georgia, attending Troy University; Cassandra Lowry from Chandler, Arizona, attending the University of St. Augustine; Patrick Marchinko from Sykesville, Maryland, attending Virginia Polytechnic Institute and State University, Virginia Tech; Robinson Richardson from Washington, Indiana, attending Purdue University; and Catherine Thibault from Duluth, Minnesota, attending the University of Minnesota, Twin Cities. The Miller Scholarship recipient for this year is Rachel Bianculli from Charlton, Massachusetts, attending Manhattan College. Project Gemini, a finalist for Soldiering On Award. Blind Veterans UK's recent annual exchange in the United Kingdom with members of BVA has been shortlisted as a finalist for the 2017 Soldiering On Awards in the international category. In recognition of the selection made November 15, 2016, by an independent judges panel at the British House of Lords, 2 representatives from Blind Veterans UK attended the finalists' reception at the same House of Lords on February 9th. Overall winners will be announced on March 24th at the Park Plaza Westminster Bridge Hotel in London. The Soldiering On Awards provide national recognition for the outstanding achievements of those who have served their country and of individuals and groups who work together with the armed forces community in Great Britain. The objective is to encourage support for the British Armed Forces community by nationally recognizing the achievements of groups, individuals, and organizations that support this community. Project Gemini, initiated in May 2011 and named for the transatlantic cable that connects the U.S. and the U.K., is a joint initiative between BVA and Blind Veterans UK. The initiative seeks to heighten public awareness within the two countries of the issues facing veterans with vision loss, as each year a different group of combat-blinded veterans from both countries share knowledge, insights, and friendship. The fruits of the program are improvements in services and benefits for veterans and their families from both countries. In June 2016, 4 Operation Iraqi Freedom combat-blinded American veterans joined 5 British veterans and 2 war-blinded veterans from South Africa. Project Gemini 2017 will be held May 21st to 28th with a special focus on the 100th anniversary of World War I. On the afternoon of May 24th, the American Embassy will sponsor a public education session. Although plans are not yet final, according to Tom Zampieri, presentations at the embassy will focus on progress made since World War I in the treatment of wounded veterans, rehabilitation of the blind, and new connections between World War I shell shock, traumatic brain injury, and modern systems of post-traumatic stress disorder. Davises attend Bow Arlington service. A photo accompanies this news report. 3 formally dressed individuals, 1 gentleman and 2 ladies, are seen standing together in front of a large vault containing the names and vital pieces of information, such as birth dates and death dates, for a number of U.S. veterans. All 3 are sporting a serious look. The gentleman at the left of the photo is wearing a BVA service cap. The older-looking lady next to him is holding an American flag that has been perfectly folded according to proper protocol. The lady at the far right is wearing a dark overcoat. The caption reads, "Wade and Brenda Davis with Martina Bow at final resting place for blinded veteran, husband, and friend George Bow of the Greater Houston Regional Group." The account of what happened begins as follows. National Field Service staff members Wade and Brenda Davis, both of whom now work at BVA National Headquarters, joined Martina Bow and extended family members for the funeral service and internment of World War II blinded veteran George Bow at Arlington National Cemetery on December 12th. Wade and Brenda were good friends of George and Martina through the Greater Houston Regional Group and their simultaneous service at the Michael E. DeBakey VA Medical Center in Houston the past few years. George passed away last June 5 at age 92. A religious memorial service was held June 16th in the VA Medical Center Chapel. He was a dedicated volunteer at the medical center, accumulating 4,004 volunteer hours over a 12-year period. He served in the Community Living Center as a piano teacher and in the physical therapy department assisting with patient needs. He also helped out in the same aforementioned chapel by providing floral arrangements for many of their services. George and Martina were also known in BVA circles for their successful entries with 2 other couples in a local gumbo cook-off held annually and reported in the Bulletin in recent years. Al Avina among top D.C. Association leaders. 2 photos accompany this brief around BVA entry. The first of the 2 is a picture of 2 different banners, one of which overlaps the other. At the top of the first banner are the uppercase words, Trending 40 Association Leaders. Below these words is the logo of Vernado Realty Trust and its location in the Crystal City neighborhood of Arlington, Virginia. The overlapping image reveals a photo of a middle-aged gentleman wearing a sweatshirt with a hood and text that identifies him as Al Avina of the Blinded Veterans Association. The second photo shows 18 formally dressed persons lined up more or less side by side in order to pose for the image. Each individual is holding in front of himself or herself at chest level a framed plaque. The caption for both photos says the following. Bruce Porter, far right, accepts Trending 40 Award for Al Avina at luncheon recognizing top Washington Association leaders. The entry starts as follows. Al Avina was recognized on December 1st as one of the Washington, D.C. area's top association CEOs at a luncheon sponsored by a group of business professionals known in the nation's capital as Trending 40. The luncheon was attended by BVA Hockey Program Director Bruce Porter, who accepted the award on Al's behalf. Quote, "It was my honor to accept this award for Al and the Blinded Veterans Association," said Bruce. "I was able to make some good connections and see that everyone is excited about what we are doing for our veterans." Trending 40 is an editorial and events program that recognizes the top talent in the business, nonprofit, and legal community in Washington, D.C. The program is supported by the business community of Greater Washington. Rare golf feat for BVA board member. Although an avid golfer, Director of District 5 Paul Kaminskis could not have imagined what would happen next after teeing up a ball January 18th on the 160-yard 13th hole at Eagle Landing Golf Course in Middleburg, Florida. Using his tailor-made 5-wood fairway club, Paul stroked the ball into the wind. As the ball landed on the green, fellow golfers Sam Kilgore, Father Edward Rooney, and Chuck Kohler told him that the ball appeared to be right next to the flagstick, but that they could not see the bottom of the pole. "As we approached the green, my ball was not in sight," said Paul. "We then walked to the hole and saw the yellow ball sitting at the bottom of the cup." The ace was Paul's first ever, despite years of playing golf as both a sighted and a legally blind veteran. Father Rooney is a retired priest from St. Luke's where Paul attends church. Kilgore and Kohler are friends and fellow parishioners. "These guys take me out golfing at least once a week because they know I love it," said Paul. The Bulletin received 2 photos to accompany the preceding entry in Around BVA. The first of the 2 shows a round hole surrounded by the artificial grass which constitutes a golf putting green. In the middle of the hole is a round stick or peg that extends upward to the top of the photo and beyond. A golf ball is seen inside the hole. The caption reads, "Paul Kaminski's missing golf ball, believed by his playing foursome to have at least reached the putting green, was eventually found sitting in the cup. The discovery confirmed that Paul's first shot was an ace in the hole." A second photo shows 4 men standing side by side in front of a building. Directly behind the men are 2 panels of glass windows and a lamp attached to the wall of the same building. To the right of the windows is an entry door. The door also has 2 panels of windows. Each of the men is wearing shorts and a golf shirt, except the one second from the left, who is attired in slacks. The photo can be further described as follows. Paul Kaminski, second from left, with friends and hole-in-one witnesses. Left to right, Sam Kilgore, Father Edward Rooney, and Chuck Kohler. Patron comments sought regarding NLS technology. Pete Davis, immediate past director of District 3 and past president of the Mid-Atlantic Regional Group, is currently a member of the Reading Technology Advisory Group, RTAG, of the Talking Books program of the National Library Service, NLS. Members of RTAG represent blind and physically handicapped individuals in providing suggestions to NLS regarding new Braille and audio equipment. He currently seeks comments and input from blinded veterans who may be regular users of the service and who may be able to offer critiques, especially as they relate to the service's limitations. Positive feedback is also welcome. "We want to know what our veterans like and what they don't like about the service, in this case as it relates to technology," said Pete. The responses Pete receives are instrumental in guiding NLS in the implementation of new technologies to be used in the distribution and presentation of library collections in the next few years. To provide Pete with this feedback, please send an email message to thepetedavis@gmail.com. 2016 District Realignment equalizes numbers. Section 1A of Article 6 of the BVA National Bylaws stipulates that the United States and its possessions shall be divided into 6 director districts, to be known as Districts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. The territorial boundaries were established at the Midwinter Board meeting in 1994 and were to be reviewed every 3 years by the National Board of Directors on the basis of the number of members and associate members, so that each district will be populated with, as nearly as possible and practical, an equal number of both combined. During its annual meeting held in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, August 21st to 26th, the Board of Directors made the following realignment changes to the 6 director districts. As a result of the changes, the new composition of the 6 director districts is now as follows. Number in parentheses is the number of states, territories, or districts comprising each one. District 1, Cape Cod and Islands, Connecticut, Maine, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, and Vermont. 10. District 2, Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Kansas, Kentucky, Michigan, Minnesota, Missouri, Nebraska, North Dakota, Ohio, South Dakota, and Wisconsin. 13. District 3, Delaware, District of Columbia, Maryland, North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, Puerto Rico, and the Virgin Islands. 10. District 4, Alaska, Arizona, California, Hawaii, Idaho, Nevada, Oregon, and Washington, 8. District 5, Alabama, Florida, and Georgia, 3. District 6, Arkansas, Colorado, Louisiana, Mississippi, Montana, New Mexico, Oklahoma, Texas, Utah, and Wyoming, 10.